All right, Brad, you're on first.
Okay, yeah, I may have to go after, so.
Perfect.
So, sorry, I was just messing with Luke. Luke is not going first.
So this demo starts with this infamous email about on call. And so I decided to automate that. And so basically what we have is this data. And so how do we access that? Because the information is there. It's just like it's tedious to just copy paste and so on. And so fortunately, our good friends at GitHub made this GitHub API that you can use GraphQL. I don't know if you're all familiar with GraphQL. The nice query language invented at Facebook. And they actually made some really cool tool around. And so I don't know if you see this GraphQL Explorer. Do you see it?
Yep.
So basically, you download it's explained on the website, but you download this tool, and then you put the GraphQL endpoint. You need to create a token. So I created a token, and then you can make some query. And so the cool stuff, for example, you can do repository. The cool stuff is that you have completion. So you can do repository, owner, return to corp, name, for example, and then you have name, you run, and then you get data. And so you can continue, you can put the issue, whatever, right? And so I put the query to get to generate this email. So basically, I looked at our organization. I take the project, which is numbered 50. If you look at the customer board, it's like you see it's project 50. Sorry. And then I take the columns, blah, 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 blah. And the cool stuff is that really this tool is great because you can click on stuff and you can get documentation. So it's easy to explore and to because I don't know exactly where the data is, but if you just follow what they do and you click on the links and then, okay, yeah, this field probably is useful and so on. And then I created in a small project. And so you have this script called curl.shell where I put the queries that I've developed before. So you see the organization, blah, 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 blah. And then I run this script once with my, with my token number, and I save it into the today data. And then I have another program that written in OCaml that basically just like parse the data and do the differences and blah, blah. And then it generates the data. It says to discuss, and so you enumerate all the issues that were not assigned. It can also put like the issues that are not that there's nobody in it. Then the things to do, and also it put automatically the good job guys, which is like the issues that were closed by people since last time, because I do the differences. But you can put more stuff. Like for example, we could put you can also it also tag with high priority stuff. It can also tag with new, and you can even, like, for example, download all the issues from SameGraph and spot all the issues that were not in the customer board since last time. So it can automate lots of the stuff. And so GraphQL, it's pretty cool. And I'm done.
Adam. Sorry, Anna. Can't read.
Cool. So wait, let me arrange my screen better. Okay. So here we have a file. It's like some kind of Kubernetes config, and we can run a pattern on it to search. So this pattern, as you notice, uses __sgrep_ellipses instead of actual ellipses. because for now we're using like a different YAML parser, which doesn't, where we can't just change its grammar. So we're probably going to need to do a pre-processing step. But now we can parse YAML into stuff. Let me dump one so that it looks cool. Crap, I should have prepared this better. Kubernetes. Damn it. Yeah, so it dumps into a bunch of tuples.
Yeah, YAML. We can dog food on our own rules.
Yeah.
Nice work,
Right.
Emma.
One SAM grab. One SAM grab.
Inception.
You can finally make sure that r2c is properly capitalized. Awesome. Thanks, Emma. Adam, over to you.
Cool. Let me share my screen. I have two things to demo. Let's see. So two quick things. One is there's now a pretty well-defined SEMgrep app QA app script for the SEMgrep app. Big shout out to Bensei for finishing this. He added a lot to some of the stuff here in the dashboard section. This is not meant to be exhaustive. There's a lot of stuff that's not here, but also big shout out to Luke and Dan for helping me figure out what are the core critical paths. You'll notice there are some stars here, and these are if you're going to be doing a major release, it's probably worth going through all of these. If you're doing a minor release, it's maybe worth just doing the ones that are starred plus anything that's maybe touched by the code changes. But the goal is this shouldn't be a major blocker. This should really we should be excited about doing this because it helps us to make sure we're not doing more work by deploying bugs and then having to redo the deploy or something like that later. Also, if you're going to make changes to these, I encourage you to update these so that the releaser, a few days later, doesn't run into big questions about why this doesn't follow, the script doesn't work anymore. Cool. And then the other thing, this is really brief, is we now have a second type of monitor on the config service. This just works in devel, but we'll be replicating this to prod soon, where we're basically, the other one pings our backend and makes sure that it's still up. This makes sure that we don't have steep drop-offs in terms of the requests to our backend or big anomalies in terms of requests to our backend. So we're going to be able to alert, for example, if no one is trying to make requests to our backend, then we know that we messed something up and that might have slipped through the other test. Or if we see a giant spike, this will alert us so that we can investigate why we have, thousands more requests to our config backend than normal. This will be connected to PagerDuty later, but just want to highlight that this exists now.
Thanks so much, Adam. Okay, I'm next. So, big shout out to Nathan for all the help on this. This is a quick demo of SAML, which is still running on my local host, but we'll get deployed to develop shortly, and then hoping to test that with some customers. So we have our new login flow, courtesy of Sabrina. I logged in here through@example.com, which is my domain to actually trigger the SAML flow. Then we get here to this SEMgrep dev SAML test app. And if I click through on that, it does some magic, doing post requests to do redirects, but you ended up logged in. And so we can now authenticate users with SAML, just like we do with OpenID Connect and OAuth. Okay, demo. Bensei, you're up twice.
Yeah, okay. And I actually managed to unmute as well. I might only have one demo for now and maybe take a couple of minutes at the end if they're really time. I wanted to show this email thread where somebody complained for, well, this was a pretty difficult bug actually. We had many emails and their GitHub action just wouldn't work. Like they couldn't run SAMGraph with connection to SAMGraph app for some reason. Thankfully, at some point, we noticed that this is actually a public repo, so we could go in and debug. And what actually was happening here is that like SAMGraph CI complained that it didn't know what rules to scan for. The reason for that almost always has been that like login was unsuccessful because the secret wasn't propagating to the repo. And in this case, it was because the way this company works is each of their employees create their own repos, their forks, and then they open pull requests from forks. So as a security measure, GitHub doesn't actually let people use the secrets that are defined on the main repo. Because like otherwise anyone could, like I could just create a fork and steal their secrets if GitHub Actions gave me the secret value. Okay, so this is why SAMGraph CI wasn't willing to scan or authenticate. So that was like a really simple PR. So I just added support for this brand new event that I noticed in a GitHub blog post that exists, where instead of running on a job on the pull request, you run a job based on the pull request target branch. So this is how people can make sure that like the pull request branch is not doing anything malicious because it is completely ignored and all the CI job code comes from the target branch, which is fine for us because like the code itself for scanning is always the same. It's always a SAMGraph action. I wanted to demo real quick also because this is maybe gonna be really useful for people. You can actually define to use the SAMGraph action from a specific branch. So here I changed the CI job to use the Benza PR target branch instead of the published stable version of SAMGraph action. And after creating a pull request targeting this reconfiguration, where I'm adding the classic 5 == 5, the logs actually show that even though I created this from my personal account, so like from the underx fork of SAMGraph action, it did use the policy from SAMGraph app. And we could get back to the original customer, Stephen, and apparently it solved their issue. That's it.
That is fantastic customer obsession.
So yeah, keep Benzie's up again, but
I'll start Benzie. All right, let's see. Oh, not a tab. Sorry. Okay, so for the past week or so, I've been working on creating an end-to-end test of SAMGraph app to verify that not only does SAMGraph, we kind of test it every time we have a pull request. We test that it at least doesn't like, I don't know, explode, but we want to have like a positive test case where actually we like confirm that if somebody introduces a bug into their code, they are in fact going to like have SAMGraph run over it, and they are going to get a PR comment if that's configured, and they are going to get a notice, like a Slack notification if that's configured. So what I have here is a repository that is explicitly set up for the basically for us to test SAMGraph, and this workflow file called testsamgraph.yaml that runs every 20 minutes. So this is a schedule job. Can people like read my screen? Is the resolution okay? I can go up. So this job gets scheduled every 20 minutes. And what it does essentially after some setup is run a script that is in the repository itself. And what this script does is it opens a new pull request with a known bug, like the == bug and like a hard-coded token bug, and actually opens a pull request on itself and create with a file that has an issue. And then in a separate workflow file, we have the usual on every pull request run SAMGraph. So then this separate workflow gets triggered basically, and SAMGraph runs over it. And then the file that the first workflow is running, if we take a look at that, the overall flow of it, the very bottom here. After opening the PR, it basically waits for SEMGREP to run, and then it actually checks that there is a PR comment and it's the right one on both from staging and from prod. It checks that we have Slack notifications where we expect to. And then if anything goes wrong, we notify Sentry. And if anything goes right, we also notify Sentry. So this is like a meta test of the end-to-end test. If anything goes wrong, we notify Sentry, and this is an error message. So whoever's on duty, on-call rotation should get a pager duty notification. But what I've also set up is this info Sentry logger on success. And if we go into here, you see this right here, and it's basically getting notified. You can see there's a whole bunch of events over here that have pinged it. And I've set up a specific alert to notify us also if the end-to-end tests stop running at all. So if we stop getting that info, so we'll both know if the end-to-end test fails or if it stops running at all. And that is the demo. If anybody is not on the SEMGREP repo, if anybody's, probably should make sure everybody's on the SEMGREP repo so that if you're on call and get a pager duty alert, you have the permissions to deal with it. And that is all.
Setting up that second alarm is such incredible foresight for checking if it stops running. That's actually, this is a longer story, but that's how my previous company almost went bankrupt, and it's the only reason they needed VC funding, because the currency conversion cron job stopped running and they didn't notice for a week.
Oh.
Yikes.
Oh,
There we go.
Awesome.
Clara
Clara.
saving us from an early C round.
Cool. I think, Dan, you're up.
I am. Just let me know when y'all can see this. I just kind of want to show some quick progress on things. Is it visible?
You can see it.
Sweet! Okay, so Clara and, well, I mean, the whole DNI team, we've been working on this team page. So it's kind of fun, but we've got a different story for everything. We're still working on content, so don't think that this is the correct content. You know, these are ideas. We should probably not use our employees' children. Bad idea. Company values is kind of looking pretty great. I'm loving that. We come down here, and we're gonna have to do a lot on life at r2c. We're gonna work on defining that more. That's really all we can do about it. And our investors and our advisors are here. And then we haven't really worked on the future benefits, but that'll be kind of one of the sections we'll also take on. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Dan, what did I read about the Alabama Guardsmen or something?
What's that?
Thought it was something about the Alabama National Guards.
Oh, I don't know. I used speeches from JFK.
Ah, great. Okay, perfect. I was like, what?
Yeah, for things that I had real content for, I left it real content, but then
Yeah.
other things I just used JFK speeches, which I actually ended up finding out I had to choose carefully, because some of the things he said was pretty dramatic if you heard it in the wrong context.
Nice. Love the work, Dan. So cool. Awesome. Anyone want to sneak in a demo in the next 3 minutes? Did I miss anyone? Thanks everyone for great demos. As Isaac mentioned, there is no CEO update because he will be underwater. But I think there'll be an update on Monday. Monday is also the start of hackathon, so I'm just going to send out the link to the hackathon projects again. Please add your name, add projects. If you don't know what project you do, I believe Adam is hosting a mixer at 5 o'clock Pacific time, where you can pick projects.
3:45, I think, Pacific.
Thank you. I can't do time zones. Thanks, everybody. Check your calendar. All right, bye.